If I can do 75 hard as a full-time working mom, so can you. If I can't commit to something for 75 days, then what would that say about me? As soon as something gets too hard, too difficult, too uncomfortable, you're ready to throw in the towel. Being disciplined is denying yourself for the sake of who you are becoming. You will never regret showing up for yourself. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Mariah Hutchinson. Happy Monday. And it is a very happy Monday for me indeed, because your girl officially finished 75 hard. Can I please get a round of applause? Oh, thank you. Yo, I cannot believe the day is finally here. It honestly flew by so fast, but also went by so slow at the same time. I don't even know how to describe it, but it feels like I just started this challenge yesterday and now I'm a whole 75 days done. Like, we did it. It was a long and hard journey, no pun intended, but it was so worth it. And I'm so proud of myself, and just seeing how far I've come since the beginning of the time that I started 75 hard to now. I just feel like I'm a completely different, transformed person, which was the goal. We are literally just diving right into this episode because this is like the main thing that I have to talk about. Like, I just need to dive into all the details. For months, honestly, for years, I kept telling myself, I need to be consistent. I need to be disciplined. I need to work out. I need to eat right. I need to drink water. And I would have short spurts where I would do these things, but those moments never lasted. You know, I continuously just kept falling back into those same bad habits, negative eating habits, not working out, not being disciplined, not being consistent. I kept falling back into those same old patterns until one day your girl looked in the mirror and I truly, did not recognize who was staring back at me. This was honestly a little bit worse than seeing my body change through pregnancy. Like, at least with pregnancy, you're growing an entire human. There's really not much that you can control as far as that goes. Like, obviously you can move your body and work out and stuff, but you can't control like how pregnancy is going to make you feel or what pregnancy is going to do to your body, because that's just going to happen. But for me to be 2.5 years postpartum, to look in the mirror and genuinely not recognize the person staring back at me, that was quite scary, because it's like, okay, girl, you're not pregnant anymore. You're not freshly postpartum anymore. You have no real excuses or reasons to not be doing the things that you said that you want to do. So why are we here? How did this happen? And I honestly just broke down right then and there. Like, I was just crying looking in the mirror. It was so heartbreaking. That was June 24th of this year. And I actually wrote something in my journal that night that I want to read with you guys, just so y'all could see like where I was at mentally. So I wrote, will I ever learn my lesson? Will I ever choose to stay locked in? Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, I am dropping the ball in every way, and I can come up with as many excuses as I want, but the truth is it's all my fault. What was supposed to be a disciplined and consistent year has quickly spiraled into something that is obviously out of control. I know what I need to do, and yet I don't do it. I preach every single week to women and encourage them to be the best version of themselves, yet I'm failing myself every day. I am a hypocrite. I'm not sure where my desire for routine and structure went, but she's definitely not in the room with us. I'm allowing myself to get sidetracked, and one day I'll look up and wonder what happened. I want to do better. I need to do better. This runaway train has to stop, and it starts with me. One day or day one, it's time to pick your tired. You'll either be tired of watching your life slip away or tired from chasing your dream life. You have to choose. Yeah, girl. That's what I wrote, okay? I truly was just fed up with myself because, like I mentioned, I knew what I should have been doing, but I wasn't doing it. And like, I was having these constant back and forth mental battles with, you need to go to the gym, you need to work out, you need to eat healthy, but also like, you deserve a break, you deserve rest, you're tired, you handled so much today, like just go sit down on the couch, drink a bottle of wine, like take a load off, and it was this constant tug and pull of like leaning more towards self-care, but also trying to show up for myself in the way that I showed up for myself. And I mentioned this a few episodes ago. I have no idea what episode this was, but I mentioned how I feel like self-care culture is kind of hurting us a little bit as women because some of us are taking it way too far. We are rewarding ourselves with bad behavior when we're not even doing the things that we said we were going to do. You know, we're constantly making excuses and giving reasons as to why we can't do something instead of just being a woman about it and doing what you said you would do. And so for me, it had just felt like I had come to a crossroads. I knew I needed a drastic change to see drastic results, which is why I was inspired to do 75 hard. I needed something to be structured. I needed a set of rules. I needed a guideline to follow, essentially. And I really didn't do it to change how I looked. I mean, obviously that was a part of the goal, but it wasn't the main goal. I did it because I wanted to change how I showed up for myself. I did it because I wanted to show me that I was a woman of my word and that I could trust myself to do the things that I said that I wanted to do. It has truly been life-changing, and so I really wanted to do an episode just dedicated to my journey and share everything that I was feeling and experiencing, and hopefully inspire someone else to grab their health by the reins and give themselves no other option but to do better and to be better. If I can do 75 hard as a full-time working mom, so can you. So the first thing I'll talk about is just to briefly describe what 75 hard is for those of you who just don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows, but I'm just gonna say it. So 75 hard is a very strict 75-day program designed to build mental fortitude and discipline within a person. And of course, there are these pretty intense rules that you have to follow daily. And if you miss a day or you mess up, you technically have to start back over at day one. So the original 75 hard rules are to follow a strict diet with no cheat meals, 2 45-minute workouts with one of those workouts being outside, drinking a gallon of water, read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and take a daily progress picture. For me personally, it felt like those rules were a little too far out there and something that I knew I wouldn't be able to sustain. So I kind of created my own rules, and I'm going to share with you what those were and the changes, small changes that I made to the original rules. My first rule was just to eat healthy meals. I didn't want to necessarily follow a specific diet. I've never been a fan of diets, honestly. So for me and my mental health, I knew that if I were to follow a specific diet, that would take the fun out of food for me and really limit my options on what I could eat. So I really just wanted to make sure that I was eating healthy food in general. So whole foods, eating a lot of protein, getting my greens in, and actually I was eating in a calorie deficit. So instead of eating my regular amount of calories that I would eat typically, I was eating a lot less calories so that I could lose weight while on 75 hard. I completely cut out alcohol, completely cut out processed sugar, and did not do any cheat meals. Justin and I would sit down every Friday or sometimes Saturday and come up with our weekly meals that we would then buy the groceries for and meal prep on Sunday. And I say we, but really my husband was doing all the meal prepping and the cooking, okay? But yeah, we would decide what we wanted to eat at the beginning of the week, so that way during the week we weren't trying to figure out what are we eating tonight, what's being cooked. You know, we really had a laid out plan for each week, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I already don't like thinking about dinner, and to not have to think about dinner every single day is so nice. So to be able to just sit down, grind it out, do all of your thinking at one time, get all the groceries that you need, and then just cook the food, it's just so much easier that way, I think. And I think that's really what helped us stay on track with our meals so well, is because we just planned them out. We didn't give ourselves an option to not have anything cooked in the fridge. I had somebody ask me on Instagram, would I recommend intermittent fasting? And I actually did intermittent fasting for a while a few years ago. It was kind of like just my thing. I would always do fasted workouts. I still only do fasted workouts, but I would always do fasted workouts and then break my fast around like 9 or 10 o'clock a.m. and wouldn't eat anything after 7 o'clock. I think intermittent fasting works if it works for your lifestyle. At the time I was doing intermittent fasting, I was in graduate school, so I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning because my school was an hour away. And so for me, it was just easier to like not really eat breakfast until I made it to that side of town or things like that. And then also my classes would end super late. So of course I'm not going to stop and get dinner at 9 o'clock. Like I'm trying to get home. So for me in that stage of my life, intermittent fasting worked. I haven't done that in a long time, but it's not something that I'm against. I think that if it works for you and your lifestyle, then by all means go ahead. But just do your research. Like I'm not a doctor, y'all be asking me stuff and I just tell you my opinion, what I think and what I do, but like, do your own research and ask your own doctor, okay? Okay, so that's everything about the food and eating healthy. My next rule was to do 2 workouts, but only every weekday. So Monday through Friday, I was doing 2 workouts a day. And on the weekends, I only had to do 1 workout a day. Again, this just worked better for my lifestyle. I be having too much to do on the weekend. So like doing more than 1 workout was just not going to cut it for me. And I also didn't want to burn myself out. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to do 1 workout on the weekends and keep the 2-a-days to the weekdays. For me and my rules, the workouts did not have to be a certain time limit and you did not have to do a workout outside. Naturally, my workouts landed somewhere between the 30 and 45-minute range anyways, and we always took a walk as a family after work, which was usually me and Justin's second workout. So I was always doing at least 45-minute workouts and then also doing an outdoor workout as well. But that's just because that is what fit into my lifestyle. But I did not make that a requirement because, girl, what if it's raining? Like there's just too many variables going on. So it's like, if you can get a good workout in 15, 20 minutes, do that. So yeah, I wasn't super strict about that kind of thing. I do want to take a second to talk about my workout split because I have had so many questions just about like my workouts and how I come up with my workouts and all the things. Monday is leg day and I focus on quads and glutes. Tuesdays is chest and shoulders. Wednesday is back and biceps. Thursday is another leg day where I'm focusing more on hamstrings and glutes. And then Friday is full body Friday. And on the weekends, I would typically just walk on Saturday and then play tennis on Sunday. So that is my workout split. I do create my own workouts. I was an athlete for years. I was a collegiate athlete. So I know a lot just about exercising in general and have been creating my own workouts for literally years. So I know what works best for me and my body and what gives me the best results. And so I just formed my workouts based off of knowledge that I kind of already had. A lot of my workouts include a lot of the same movements, which there's only so many exercises that you can do, but also doing the same movements week to week really does help you build and shape the muscle better and also get stronger, especially if you are increasing your reps and or increasing your weight as well week to week. I have some other just like non-negotiable workout rules. Like I only do fasted workouts, especially in the morning, just because I get really bad cramps when I eat before I work out. I always do 5 exercises at most. Sometimes if I have like supersets, I'll throw in 6 or 7 exercises, but I'm really not trying to do too much. Like I really design my workout split to be so intentional and to hit every single muscle group. And so when I'm creating my workouts for those specific days, like I am pushing those muscles as much and as far as they can go, But yeah, I think working out doesn't have to be as ominous or intimidating as a lot of people make it. You spend a good 30-45 minutes in there weightlifting, get you 5 good exercises, do 3 to 4 sets with 10 to 15 reps and like you will be good. Incorporate some fun movement so it doesn't get boring, do jump rope, play tennis, do a Zumba class. Like just make it fun. Don't make working out like a chore. It is something that is beneficial to you and your body, and not something that we need to look at like, oh, this is so hard, I don't want to do this. Like we should be looking forward to being able to move our body and push ourselves to a certain limit and watching our progress as we continue being consistent. So yeah, anyways, this is taking me way longer to get through than I thought. Okay, next rule. My next rule was to drink close to a gallon of water, because girl, I can't drink that much water. I cannot drink a whole gallon of water. And I think drinking a gallon of water is almost kind of a myth, because everybody's weight and body mass is like so different. So if one person needs 1 gallon of water, that might not be the same situation for you. Like your stomach might be smaller. There's so many variables that come into play with how much water you're actually supposed to intake. So for me, I was never focused on drinking a gallon of water. Like, girl, please. I was really just focused on making sure I was getting enough water, and I really only drank water. I did not have no kind of, well, I lied, because we did juice once when I got sick. Justin made me like some apple, carrot, and ginger juice, but that was like natural, like I wasn't out here just like drinking whatever. I really drank 98% water during this whole 75 days, which was pretty impressive. I was very proud of myself for that, because I love me some juice. My next rule was to read 7 to 10 chapters of the Bible every night. So this was my nonfiction book, because obviously the Bible is the truth and nothing but the truth. And I had some people also ask me, how did I go about reading my Bible every single night? I can't lie, this was something that I wasn't as consistent in, but I did try my best to, like, if I missed the night, I would read the next night. Like I was trying to stay on top of it for sure. But I think for me, it's just making it a point, like doing it as soon as I get in the bed, out the shower, instead of grabbing my phone, instead of trying to find what to watch on TV with Justin, open my Bible and just read. And 7 to 10 chapters, depending on what book of the Bible you're reading, it can be a lot. If you're reading something like Psalms, where the chapters are a lot shorter, it's easier to get through those 7 to 10 chapters. But if you're reading something like Numbers, girl, I'm not in Numbers. Where am I at in the Old Testament? I don't even remember. Second Chronicles, I think. But yeah, anyways, if you're reading like one of those books that has just like longer chapters in general, like obviously you probably won't be able to read 7 to 10 chapters a night. But my goal was to just try and read for like at minimum 10 minutes of the Bible. So if that got me through 7 chapters, then great. If it got me through 3 chapters, then great. I really just wanted to get in the habit of like opening my Bible and reading my Bible every single night before I decided to do other things. My next rule and my last rule was to take progress pictures weekly and not daily. And I had to do this for my mental health. I don't like weighing myself. I don't want to take pictures every single day. Like, I just feel like that is overkill and a little bit obsessive. And so for me, I was just like, I'm not going to do that if I don't want to do that. So I just took weekly progress pictures, and I feel like I was able to see my progress so much more with the weekly photos rather than the daily photos, because if you're taking pictures daily, like obviously you're not going to see as much of a difference. So it can be a little bit discouraging. But once a week, I would take pictures and I would weigh myself, and seeing that progress is what kept me motivated to keep going. So yeah, those were my rules for my version of 75 Hard. And I feel like customizing the rules to fit my lifestyle and my goals was key. Y'all, it was key in making sure that I continued showing up and continued like going through with the challenge. It was obviously still difficult and uncomfortable, but it wasn't impossible, which was important to me. I think a lot of people don't do 75 Hard because it can be a little bit intimidating and the rules are very like demanding. But you can literally just make your own rules. Like, who said we can't make our own rules to 75 Hard? Nobody. Like, who's gonna come check you about it? So if you have been just kind of like nervous about doing 75 Hard because the rules scare you and intimidate you a little bit, this is me giving you permission to change the rules. Fix it to your lifestyle. Fix it to your goals. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was like so determined to make a change within myself. I wanted to prove to myself that I could would do hard things just because I said I would. But don't get me wrong, like I definitely wanted to give up. There were definitely moments where I was like, I cannot go on. Like this is crazy. Especially in the beginning, like around 2 to 3 weeks, boy, I was ready to quit and throw in the towel. I was craving everything I shouldn't. My body was extremely sore. I was waking up so early, 4:30 every single morning. There was definitely a war happening in that like first month between my flesh and my spirit. My flesh wanted comfort, but my spirit wanted growth. Like I wanted to snooze my alarm. I wanted to go to Cane's and get a box combo. I wanted to skip a workout, but I knew that if I did those things that it would defeat the purpose of my long-term goal. And that's actually going to bring us to our anchor scripture for today's episode because of course we got to go Bible. We are in Galatians chapter 6 verse 9 and it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Doing good, doing the things that we are supposed to do is not easy, right? Like even though it's something that we should do, it's not something that comes natural or easy to us because our flesh obviously wants everything that our spirit doesn't. And so that's why a lot of times people give up, especially in the beginning, because they get weary in doing good. They get weary in the fact that their flesh is uncomfortable and they cannot go on living in the discomfort. So they just decide to quit and give up altogether. But I love this verse because it is such a reminder of the reward that happens at the end of it, right? Like if we continue to do good, if we do not get weary, if we continue showing up, then at the proper time, we will reap a harvest, right? Like everything that you sow, you are going to reap. So if you're putting in the hard work and the dedication and the consistency, it is not in vain. When the time is right, your harvest will come. But it's so hard to see the harvest in the beginning because you're in the trenches, you're in the thick of it. Nothing feels good. Nothing is going right. You're not seeing any progress. But one day, you will look up and look around and be like, man, I'm living in my harvest. But that only happens if you decide not to give up. And so for me, when it got like super hard, I had to ask myself, if I can't commit to something for 75 days, if I can't say no to bad habits for 75 days, then what would that say about me? Like, what kind of person would that make me that I can't not do something for 75 days? I would lose all trust in myself. We talk about not being able to trust other people, but what happens when you're not able to trust yourself? When you're not able to do the things that you said you wanted to do? When you're not able to show up when you said that you would? You will lose all belief in yourself that you actually can because you've proven to yourself over and over again that you can't. As soon as something gets too hard, too difficult, too uncomfortable, you're ready to throw in the towel. But being disciplined is denying yourself for the sake of who you are becoming. You have to think with the end goal in mind, right? Especially when you're doing something like this that feels like, oh, 75 days is so far away and it's so long and this is going to take so much of my time. But it's like at the end of it, you're going to be a completely different person. So you have to think about the end at the beginning and know that you will never be able to reap the harvest of your hard work if you never start putting in the work. This is a small sacrifice for a greater reward. And honestly, the mental shift is going to come before the physical one. You're going to have to start thinking differently long before you actually start seeing changes in your life. You have to believe that it's worth it before you even start seeing that it's worth it. And that is faith, believing in the things unseen. I saw little to no progress physically when I looked at myself in the mirror. It felt like I was just going around in circles, like nothing I was doing was actually really working. But I knew that it was because my mentality shifted first. I felt the progress in the way that I thought before I ever saw like real physical changes in my body. Because really 75 hard is all just a mental game. You have to believe that you can do it and you have to continue to choose to do it every single day with your mental first. When my alarm goes off, I have to think to myself that I'm going to wake up to my alarm before I actually hit stop. right? Because if I don't think that I'm going to get up, then I'm not going to get up. So for me, it all started with just like shifting my mentality first, because once you're able to get control of your mental, self-control just kind of starts to flow from that. But there are also some things that helped me when it got like really hard. The first one was tracking my progress with like weekly photos and weigh-ins. Like I said, being able to read the scale and see 1 pound down in a week, it's like, oh, I'm looking in the mirror and I still look the same, but I'm reading the scale and like something's working. So like let's just keep going. It got me so excited, and comparing my photos week to week to week, it was like, wow, you can really start seeing the small little changes in your physical body, because one thing a photo not gonna do is tell you a lie. So I kept taking those pictures and I kept taking them from all different kinds of angles and doing before and after photos and putting them together so I could literally look at it and be like, dang girl, you're doing it, it's happening, it's working, like keep going. That was so much motivation for me. The second thing that helped when it got really hard was just having accountability partners. Justin was definitely my number one accountability partner because we lived together and we were doing this together side by side. But I also had a broadcast channel. I don't know how many people was doing the challenge with me actually, but my broadcast channel has almost 300 people in it, and a lot of people at the beginning said that they were going to do it. And so for me, it was like, well, dang, if they gonna do it, then that means I really got to do it, because they counting on me to show up for them and I got to do what I said I'm going to do. So having just accountability partners really pushed me, I guess, to continue showing up, because I had other people counting on me, looking to me for workouts and like just all these different things. So I wanted to make sure that I was showing up for myself while also in a way showing up for the people who were doing it with me, because I didn't want to leave them high and dry. And then the last thing that really helped me when things got hard was just imagining how proud I would feel at the end of this. And like, I genuinely do feel so proud. So just knowing that this feeling was going to come was like, made all of the hard moments worth it, made all of the push through moments worth it, because I knew when I get to the end of this thing, I'm gonna look back and be like, dang girl, you really did that. Like, it was hard. There were days where you didn't know if you would make it, like where you didn't really want to get out of bed, where you didn't want to do this or do that, but like you actually did it. And just being proud of yourself is like the best feeling ever. So many people have asked me what the hardest part of 75 Hard has been. And shockingly, the hardest part wasn't the workouts or the diet, but it was actually just like denying myself fully. The flesh is a hard thing to control. And like I said earlier, it usually desires things that we know aren't the best for us. I lived so long doing what I wanted, eating what I wanted, sleeping when I wanted, being lazy when I wanted. So going from this unstructured lifestyle to rigidly structured was like a little bit of a shock. My flesh was almost like, girl, what do you mean we can't have that? What do you mean we can't do that? Like, she was checking me a little bit. I truly had to get in the habit of telling myself no and just like denying myself. Even when I wanted to sleep in, I got up. Even when I wanted ice cream, I resisted. Even when I wanted to skip a workout, I remembered who I was trying to become. I was physically tired and physically exhausted, but spiritually I was being renewed and setting myself up for the best outcome possible. And I really feel like through this process, I learned to lean on God for strength and stop trying to do it all out of my own might, because like I just couldn't do it. I truly had to rely on God to give me strength. Like, God, you know, I need to go to the gym in the morning. Like, please just wake me up. Like, you know, like, please just let me have the ability to get up in the morning and go and do what I have to do. And it sounds silly, but like, you gotta ask God for the stuff that you need. Okay. If you need help waking up in the morning, ask God to help you to wake up in the morning. Like, nothing is too shallow for him. We can literally pray about any and everything. And I'm so grateful for that. The easiest part of 75 Hard, honestly, was the meals. Like, eating healthy was not hard at all, but I think I have a lot of credit to give to my husband for that fact, because he is such an incredible cook. And even though we were eating healthy meals, nothing we were eating was bland or boring or like unseasoned. He really made eating healthy enjoyable. And he also tracked all of our macros, which y'all know I don't do. He tracked his pretty rigidly. Mine were tracked a little bit more loosely, but I knew I was still eating in a deficit. And that's all thanks to him because he was weighing out our meals and all the things. But yeah, we ate so good and we still saw results. So I was very pleasantly surprised with that. And we're actually starting a series on my Instagram called Healthy Love, where we're going to walk you guys through the meals that we ate on 75 hard. We've already recorded, I think, like 3 different ones. I just have to edit them and we have to do the voiceover and all the things. Like, it's a lot of work, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy that series. We've had so many questions about just like the meals in general. So I'm very excited to get that to you guys and show y'all what we've been eating. I feel like through this, Justin and I have really gotten to rediscover discipline together and realize that it was never impossible. We just had to put the effort in. Along with that realization, I feel like there were so many other things that I just learned about myself through this journey. The first one being that I never had a problem with consistency. I was just consistent in the wrong things. Like, I was just constantly doing stuff that was not good for me. And so breaking that cycle has felt so good. The second thing I learned about myself was that I can, but I just chose not to. Like, it really wasn't nobody holding a gun to my head telling me you can't do this. It was really just myself holding me back from doing what I said that I wanted to do and honestly needed to do. I learned that my excuses weren't really reasons, like I always had an excuse for everything. Like, oh, I'm so tired. Or, oh, I worked all day. Or Ace, was throwing a fit, whatever the case may be. I came up with so many excuses, but they were never actually real reasons to not do what I needed to do. But most importantly, I learned that I am enough reason to show up for. I don't need a big event or a reason or external validation in order to do the things that I should. I am enough reason to do those things because I alone am worth it. This was truly just like such an eye-opening experience for me, such a spiritual journey for me. And I feel like I have such a different relationship with discipline, consistency, and obedience. And I feel like those 3 things are the anchors to life. Like, you cannot have one without the other. They are not interchangeable. You need all 3 to have a strong, structured life. Discipline is the act of doing it whether you want to or not. Consistency is choosing to show up again regardless of what tries to stop you. And obedience is deciding to do what has been asked of you, whether by God, by yourself, or by other people. They are all so necessary and vital to be successful and be your best self. They keep you from drifting. They keep you from being unfocused. And they keep your eyes on the goal. And so for me, I have just tried to remember that if I can have those 3 things, discipline, consistency, and obedience, then I can literally accomplish and do anything. We're nearing the end of this episode. Let's get into my results because I'm sure that's what a lot of people are here for. Y'all want to know how much weight I lost, what's going on, what's tea. So physically, I lost about 12 and a half pounds. I got leaner, I got toner, I got stronger, I got more sculpted, which is exactly what I wanted. Nothing was necessarily wrong with my body before. Like, obviously, I didn't think that I looked bad or terrible, but I just knew that I wasn't at my peak. I didn't look as good as I could have. I wasn't putting forth the effort to actually treat my body as a temple. And so I'm very proud of myself physically. And I knew that I didn't want to lose a whole bunch of weight. I lost around about how much I genuinely wanted to lose on this journey. So I'm very happy about that. I reached the goal weight that I wanted. I feel like my physique is just getting better and better with each week. So I'm very happy about the physical aspect of 75 hard for sure. Mentally, I feel like I'm more optimistic. I'm more happy. I'm more peaceful. I trust myself again. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, like, I believe wholeheartedly that I'm going to do it. Like, I feel like I've just rebuilt that trust within myself, which has been so nice. And then spiritually, I feel like I've definitely gotten just deeper in my faith. I have a heavier reliance on God than I think that I did before, and really just keeping him at the forefront to help me push through hard and difficult moments. Honestly, the biggest transformation was not on the outside. It was definitely on the inside. Like I have been completely transformed. My life is forever changed, and I never, ever, ever, ever want to go back to the version of myself that I was at the beginning of this journey. I don't want to be a person who is lazy, who makes excuses, who is lackadaisical, who overindulges, right? Like I want to be someone who utilizes these principles and implement them into my everyday life so that this can be a healthy lifestyle and not just another healthy season, right? Like I've gone through way too many healthy seasons. I want this to be sustainable. I want this to be a permanent lifestyle change for me. And I truly think that it has been and it will be. I don't think I would ever do 75 hard again, but it is definitely something that I would recommend to any person to do at least once. I don't think it's as intimidating as everyone makes it out to be. And obviously it's not going to do you any harm. It's only going to make you a better person, a better version of yourself. So I would definitely recommend people doing 75 hard. Like, just do it. It's a short time to be uncomfortable for a long-term change. You just have to decide and then do. It's really not that hard. I definitely wasn't perfect, but this process to me, I don't think is about being perfect. I think it's about just being faithful to what you said you were going to do. And as long as you continue to show up every single day and do that, like you're winning and you're achieving what the goal of 75 hard actually is. So if you're thinking about doing 75 hard, just do it. Like don't overthink it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Just go for it. And if 75 hard is not your thing, like that's okay too. Just find a routine or a rhythm or a challenge that helps you grow. 75 hard is not for everyone, but it was definitely for me. And like I said at the beginning, I think that if you are able to make the changes to the rules that you need to fit your lifestyle, then by all means do what you have to do in order to make it to the finish line. You will never regret showing up for yourself. The hardest part really isn't the doing, it's deciding you're worth the effort. Once you realize your self-worth and that you are capable of doing and achieving any and everything in this life, that is when you step into your true power and your true essence. You have to believe you are worth the changes that you want to see. Don't do it for anyone or anything other than yourself, because I promise you, if your reasoning is rooted in something externally, it's not going to have the same effect and it's not going to be sustainable for you. So just make sure that if you do this, that it is for you and for you alone and for you to prove a point to yourself and not to anyone else. And whatever your version of 75 hard looks like, just stay with it. Be consistent, keep showing up, and let the process and the journey change you like it has changed me. And that is literally like the end of this episode. I don't even have nothing else to say after that. I feel like I talked about so much, but also so little. Like there's so many just intricacies of this journey that I feel like I'll never be able to fully explain, but hopefully you guys were able to get the gist throughout this episode of just like how life-changing this thing truly is. I'm so happy. I feel like I've inspired so many other people to like do this, and I just want to continue to inspire more people because it's just like, it's so life-changing. Like you don't know what you're missing out on. So girly, if you're on the fence, this is your sign, okay? You can do it. You will do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a like, a comment, and a 5-star rating. I love you so much. I hope you have a great Monday, a great week, and I will talk to you in my next episode. Bye.